The Watcher, Saddles and Secrets series. Written by Shirley Penick. Narrated by Douglas G. Thornton. Prologue. Christina McMillan walked next to her boss, Maggie Ann, away from the barn that housed the horses of the rescue ranch and toward the back door to the ranch house. Maggie Ann had invited she and her coworker Lily to have lunch with Sheriff John. Maggie Ann had said that the sheriff wanted them to meet his soon-to-be new deputy. Christina found that quite odd. They hadn't done any introduction lunches ever before, so why now? Lily had begged off, saying she needed to meet her husband to finalize some things for their new house. Christina had no idea what finalization was needed. Lily had kept them all up to date on every little detail of the house purchasing and furnishing, while they'd worked side by side, mucking out stalls, grooming, and exercising the geriatric horses under their care. So why they now had some vague task to do, Christina couldn't imagine. Everything seemed to be a little off about this meeting. Oh well, it was lunch, not a big deal. She was ready to eat. They'd worked extra hard this morning, doing both the morning chores and the afternoon ones. Christina guessed that was so they could spend the afternoon on the fundraisers. They'd spent a lot of time working on the fundraisers that were planned for later in the year. Non-profits like the horse rescue ranch always needed more funding. Christina and Maggie Ann had just crossed into the yard of the ranch house when Sheriff John drove into the parking area. Maggie Ann stopped. Here come the big bad protectors of the county now. Christina chuckled at her boss's teasing about her lover. Maggie Ann and John had recently gotten back together, 20 years after being high school sweethearts. Christina wasn't much of a romantic, but even her jaded heart had to admit their getting back together after so many years was sweet. Christina had never had a relationship that she would want to rekindle, except for her best friend from elementary school, Bobby Ray, as she'd called him. That wasn't his real middle name. They'd made that up after watching The Waltons, or some similar show where many of the characters went by their first and middle name. She had been Chrissy Lou, and he had been Bobby Ray. She still missed him, nearly every day, and he'd been gone for almost 20 years. The two men got out of the SUV and walked over toward them. John called out, "Maggie Ann, Christina, I'd like you to meet my soon-to-be new deputy. Rob Jenkins, this is Maggie Ann Reynolds and Christina McMillan." Christina frowned. Had she just conjured up Bobby? This new guy, this Rob, was exactly how she'd pictured Bobby looking as an adult. He was only a few inches taller.
Sample complete. Ready to continue?